Okay, so I have uncovered a conspiracy. It's about the show Arrow. You know how in a lot of superhero movies, they always talk about like, this is all my fault, all of this is happening just because of me, I'm responsible. Well, in this case, I want to prove this, that it is actually true. In case you're wondering what I'm drinking, I am drinking my tears that I have saved up over the last few weeks. Kind of salty, almost as salty as Oliver Queen's tears are gonna be once I fucking unravel all of this. So welcome to Ahmed tries to justify having watched 8 seasons of Arrow by making this video. So at the middle, we have Starling City, or as they later call it, Star City. Now, I want you to imagine Starling City. This is basically a glorified piñata, and everyone wants to destroy it, but Oliver is the Spaßverderber, fucking party foul, and he will try to stop everyone from destroying Star City because he doesn't want to have fun. He's just like, my city, I want to save it. Fucking weirdo. So basically, imagine Arrow, or as I like to call it, Batman Light, because it's essentially just Batman. He's rich and he has no superpowers. Sound familiar? So we have Oliver, who went on a yacht ride or something with his dad, and then the ship crashed, and then he was stranded on an island for 5 years where a bunch of shit happened, but I'm not getting into that because it's way too complex. But basically, he became a serious killer fighter. Well, I'm only going to talk about the villains, and I'm also only going to talk about the main villains. The first one is Malcolm Merlyn. Now, Malcolm, just like Oliver, has had the genius idea or thought that arrows are better than guns or anything else, basically. And he wants to destroy the glades of Starling City, which are like the slums where all the poor people live, and he's also a top 1%er. Because one day some guy from the glades killed his wife, and now he hates the glades and he wants to destroy them. And then eventually Oliver stops him. 503 people die, but that's less than how many other people would have died, I think. That's season number 1, who cares, pretty boring. I'll give that one to Oliver, you know. Independent of what Oliver did, Malcolm wanted to destroy the glades anyway, and that's why I will accept that this is not Oliver's fault. But let's move on to the second villain. Second villain, season 2, is Slade Wilson. So, when Oliver was stranded on the island, Slade was also there, and they tried to get off the island together, but didn't really work out that well. Essentially what happens is there's also this other chick on the island, and Slade's in love with her, but Oliver lets her die. Lets her die in that some guy wanted to like make Oliver choose between Shadow or Sarah, I think her name is, and then Oliver didn't make a choice, so the guy just shot Shadow, and Slade now blames Ollie for her death. And to hurt him, he wants to destroy everything Oliver holds dear, which includes killing his mother, telling his sister that Malcolm is actually her father, and destroying Star City. Because if you want to hurt a man, destroy his city. I think vigilantes just think different, so maybe Slade's onto something. But this proves my point. Starling City being destroyed or attacked is Oliver's fault because Slade wanted revenge on Oliver. If Oliver didn't exist, or if Oliver died, Slade wouldn't have fucking, attacked the city. Also, thinking about it, his plan was to get a bunch of super serum and get a load of people juiced up on that serum, and then attack the city, which would then eventually cause the military to bomb the city, which I think is a pretty stupid plan, because the amount of money this guy has and resources he has, pretty sure he could just buy a bomb himself and do it himself. So I realized this might not be straight completely, so just think of this border as a allusion to my sexuality. Third villain, Ra's al Ghul. Now, I'm sure, obviously everyone knows this. Ra's al Ghul is the leader of the League of Assassins. The League of Assassins are a very clandestine and old League of Assassins, basically. It's in the name. That I think they try to keep the world safe. Not safe, cleansed, I think the word is. Don't know how. Don't know what their ultimate goal is. Also, they're pretty shit, honestly. They say that like, oh my god, they're League of Assassin ninjas. They're like so hyper trained and so strong. But then like Oliver's ex-girlfriend, who was a lawyer and then like trained like 3 weeks to become a vigilante, is able to like fight 5 of these guys. And if you can't beat an ex-lawyer with like 5 of your ninjas, hey, maybe you're shit. Maybe you don't deserve this. Maybe you should cleanse your own fucking league before trying to. Ra's has been old for a while because of the Lazarus Pit, which is magical water, which I don't really get because water is already magical. I mean, you drink a glass of water a day and your skin stays clear, or so I've been told. Like he's a proper hydro homie. Immortality ran his course, and now he wants to die because it's the fucking 21st century and everyone wants to die. No one wants to live in this world, and I completely understand that. And Ra's, you go. But he needs someone to lead the League of Assassins, and his Nachkomma, Nachkomma, I don't know what's called in English. He wants it to be Oliver. Yeah, and he wants to destroy Starling City because of 2 reasons. One, he wants to kill. So Damien Darhk is living in Starling City, so that's one reason he wants to do it. And the second reason he wants to destroy Star City is because he wants Oliver to be cleansed of the city, so Oliver can let go of his past and all his things that are like holding him back, and that's why he wants to do it. He's going to use a nerve gas or some bio-terrorist weapon to destroy Starling City, which is a pretty shitty weapon for an assassin, I'd say. I mean, if you primarily go around fighting people on cliffs with swords, then suddenly using a bio weapon is like easy mode, you know? Like, come on, think of something creative. I don't know, it's like, take out the Wi-Fi in the city. That'll probably destroy it. It's only Oliver's fault. The Starling City is getting destroyed because Ra's wants to destroy Starling City because of Oliver. If Oliver didn't live in Starling City or was already dead, Ra's wouldn't be fucking with Starling City. So, that's his fault, that's his fault. I'm just saying, if you wanted to like, because like, he's a vigilante, right? And the police want to catch him. If the police wanted to catch him, because in season 1 he's just going around killing people. So that's like, whatever, you know, that's kind of hard. Later, he basically just shows up to every major crime that happens in the city. And if the police wanted to catch him, yeah, they could just time him, the time that it gets for him to get there, right? And then draw a circle around the city, like around the position, and be like, okay, so this is where he could have originated from. And if you do that enough times, eventually they'll all intersect in one general area, and then you could catch him. Just saying. But I'm not a police officer, so I don't really know how that shit works. Moving on to the villain number 4, we have Damien Darhk, a leader of a terrorist organization called Hive, and he wants to destroy Star City because I don't know, to be honest. I don't really know. It's never really well explained. He just wants to destroy Star City and wants to take over it. He has a monologue about how cities rise and fall. But if cities rise and fall, why do you have to make them fall? They could just, you know, fall on their own. And also, Starling City hasn't risen. Starling City has like one part, which is the Glades, where all the poor people live. And then they have one part, which has like the top 1%er. It's a pretty shitty city, to be honest. So yeah. But on his way to destroy Star City, Oliver tries to stop him, and then he starts hating Oliver, and then he wants to destroy it even more. And I don't really know if I would blame Oliver for this, But I'm just saying, if Malcolm had destroyed Starling City in the season 1, which was already independent of Oliver, then Starling City would have never been here in the first place to be destroyed by Damien Dark. So I will still blame Oliver for this, okay? Just ignore the penmanship. Season 5, I think? Main villain, Prometheus. He also uses arrows because I don't know why. I don't understand why arrows are so... I mean, it's called arrow, but like, it's a pretty shitty weapon. Like, it's like, pew, instead of like, pew, 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 you know? It would be so much more efficient. So Prometheus is a guy. His dad is killed by Oliver, I think around season 1, and he hates Oliver because of that, and he wants to destroy Oliver's life because of that. Now, he doesn't attack Starling City. I know, right? Shocker. This is the first season where Star City is actually safe. But what does happen is, see, Oliver apparently has a kid that he didn't know about, and to hurt him, he kidnaps Oliver's kid and then kills the mother. And that kid now has a pretty shitty life, because not only is his mom dead, but also Oliver is his father. First of all, that's a big fucking red flag. B, in the future, because sometimes you have future, what do you call it? Flash forwards, I guess. Oliver sends the kid to go live with the kid's grandparents, and then essentially Oliver and his wife, Felicity, just abandon him. So if Oliver had never vigilante, the kid's dad would still be alive, and then Oliver's secret kid would also be alive, and no one would have been hurt. So that's Oliver's fault. Season 6, main villain, main antagonist, Ricardo Diaz. He is, I think, a drug dealer. So he takes over, he pays all the high-ranking bureaucrats in the city. Takeovers. He doesn't want to destroy Star City. He just wants to take it over. And see, you might be saying that, hey, that doesn't sound like Oliver's fault. And you're right, but here's the thing. Oliver doesn't take him down. The FBI does, because Oliver has to needs help from the FBI, because at the end of season 1, he had the stupid rule, I'm not gonna kill anymore because it's not moral and people have lives, blah, blah, blah. You know what? In season 1, I actually counted the amount of people he kills. He kills mostly henchmen. I swear to God, he's so fucking privileged. It's actually unreal. Because he goes into that 1%er's house, right? Or their office or their bureau or whatever, right? And then he goes in there and he's like, pachoo, pachoo, pachoo. And he he kills all the guards, or it's never really said, but I'm pretty sure, because he got shot with an arrow here, you're gonna die, right? So he kills the guards, right? But then he gets to the 1%er who's on this stupid little list that his dad made him, which is has all the corrupt people in Starling City, which is yeah, so he kills mostly guards, and he gets to the 1%er, and he's like, ooh, pay your money back or I'll come back and get you. And then he leaves, right? And then either people pay the money back or they die, right? But I'm just saying, those henchmen probably weren't evil. They were just doing their job. They were protecting whoever pays them, and Oliver is a dick for killing them because it's not their fault, okay? Yeah, so he can't take down Ricardo Diaz because of the stupid no-killing rule. So he tells the FBI that he will admit to the fact that he's the arrow if the FBI helps take him down. And then they help him take him down, right? But the FBI probably doesn't need his help. They could just do some investigating, because he fucking does shit out in the open all the time. He's not really exactly secret about it. It's not his fault. It's not Oliver's fault that Diaz wants to take over Starling City, but Oliver isn't the one to stop him. Season 7 is weird because I definitely know that I watched it, but I can't remember anything about it. And I think that just speaks about how the season was. Also, in case you're interested, I obviously did my research because I watched the finale of all these seasons just for you. So please be grateful. Validate my dumb decisions. Season 7 is weird because the first half, Oliver is in prison because obviously he should be. He's a fucking vigilante. He's killed people and he belongs to the top 1%. And as we know, all top 1% obviously should be in jail because they all got their money by exploiting other people. The main villain, I guess, is Emiko, who is Oliver's half-sister that he didn't know about until now. Which, if you think about it, Oliver doesn't have any siblings because Thea, his other sister, is his dad. Her dad is Malcolm Merlyn, and Emiko is his half-sister. So yeah, Oliver's the only purebred queen, and only he has the right to the throne. See that little queen joke I made there? And so Emiko hates Oliver because Oliver's dad, Robert Queen, he chose Oliver, Thea, and Oliver's mom over Emiko and her mom, which, like, I mean, obviously he did. He said, like, Emiko can't have anything from the inheritance of his super rich company, Queen Consolidated, and that's why Emiko hates Oliver. And also, apparently she knew about the yacht being attacked, and then she never chose to say anything. So I think, in a way, all of this is Emiko's fault, because if she had just told them about the yacht, Oliver would have never become what he did. But I want to blame Oliver because I think a general rule in life should be blame the white man. She wants to destroy Oliver, and she belongs to a terrorist organization called the Ninth Circle. This is supposed to be a circle, not an O, which is basically just a League of Assassins because, like, they both wear black, right? They're both a terrorist covert organization that that nobody has heard of. They both have existed for centuries and have controlled the thread of reality through the shadows and shaped the world as they wanted it to be. And also, they both wanted to destroy the city with bioweapons. So yeah, this is the same thing. Literally interchangeable. So Emiko then wants to obviously destroy Starling City because she wants to hurt Ollie. But then by the end, obviously she's redeemed because we're not gonna fucking make Oliver kill his half-sister. That's why I put the Ninth Circle here as well, because Emiko's not really the bad guy, but then she dies. And also the Ninth Circle doesn't get, Oliver doesn't defeat the Ninth Circle, they still exist. But it's Oliver's fault that Emiko wanted to destroy Star City. Well, it's technically Oliver's dad's fault, but if Oliver had just fucking died, this wouldn't be a problem right now. That's all I'm saying. And then there's season 8, which I don't want to get into season 8 because season 8, to understand season 8, you have to watch The Flash, Legends of Tomorrow, Supergirl, and maybe Batwoman, because it's essentially about Crisis on Infinite Earths, which is the super popular DC comic storyline. Okay, so I already stopped recording, but I just realized everything Oliver does is just a power trip in this fucking series because Oliver knows the Flash, who's in the same universe, and other than Damian, because he has magical powers, and Slade and Malcolm, if Oliver really wanted to save the city, he could have just called the Flash over and the Flash could have just taken care of him in 2 minutes. So everything he does is a fucking power trip because he wants to prove that he has something in it. He doesn't care about the city. No one cares about Starling. It's a shit city. Just let it fucking be destroyed, okay? Just a quick recap. Malcolm wanted to destroy Starling City, not Oliver's fault. Deathstroke wanted to destroy Starling City, Oliver's fault. Raish, Oliver's fault. Damien Dark, Oliver's fault. Prometheus, Oliver's fault. Ricardo, not Oliver's fault, but Oliver didn't help. And Emiko, Oliver's fault. Which means, as I have proven, undoubtedly, without a shadow of a doubt, I think I have proven that Oliver Queen, you have failed this city. Yeah, basically, fuck Oliver. If Oliver had just died on the yacht or on Lian Yu and never trained to become a vigilante or never became a vigilante even though he survived, that means that Malcolm would have destroyed the Glades and Starling City, which would have made the city shit, which means that Damien Dark would never want to destroy the city. Ricardo Diaz would never want to become the underground king of the city. It means Prometheus would still have his dad, Oliver's son's mom would still be alive, Emiko, Deathstroke, Raish wouldn't want to take revenge on Oliver by destroying Starling City. Boom. Basically, Oliver, you suck. To commemorate Oliver's legacy after fucking 8 seasons of this. See, I originally started watching this series because it was the only superhero series that was out there that was halfway decent, but then I started watching like other actually good ones like Marvel's Netflix. Also, Daredevil is the best fucking superhero TV series yet. Fight me on that. I'm right. And now I have spent 7 seasons, maybe 8, I don't know. I think I haven't watched the 8th season, but anyway. So I've spent so much time watching this series that I feel like I just need to do something to justify this. So I wrote a diss track because obviously it's 2017, 18? When was the whole diss track thing? 17, I think. Jeez, fuck, I'm old. Anyway, you want to protect Star City, Oliver Queen. Sounds like a pretty stupid dream. Should have just died on Lian Yu. The one major problem, bro, it's you. Using a bow and arrow, looking at you, all I feel is sorrow. Coming in, cause destruction, thinking it's salvation. Fucking up poor lives like gentrification. Real life commentary there. Think you're a hero who's bona fide. Everything would have been better if you had just died.